68 or stick or Y stick, but the stick concept is what it's commonly known as, is probably the most widely used play, one of the more simple plays that's in the package, and probably one of the most effective plays overall. I know it's been my favorite play for many years. Ran it at, I would imagine, at least 6 to 8 times a game, and I could probably have run it more. I'm sure there were games when we did. And the good thing about it is it's a good blitz beater, but it's also good against any coverage. It's not a great long yardage play, but it's still good against any coverage. And there's been many times that the short pass has turned into a big play. So it's still a good play regardless of coverage again. So it's one that I always spent a lot of time on and made sure that it was something that we used a lot. The progression is we're going to pre-snap to go, and then we've got pre-snap slants on the backside as well. Excuse me, and then the main progression is stick, arrow, check down, and then there's a couple variations to that, but we want to read stick to arrow to check down. And the stick route is basically a 5-yard route unless you're making it a 3-step drop by the quarterback, then you want to make it a 7 to 8-yard route. With the 1-step drop, 5 yards seems to time up perfectly with the quarterback taking a 1-step, firing his feet, getting the ball out. A couple different ways you can run the stick. Here, what we're showing, the stick actually wants to chase the inside hip of the whole player. So even if he were to widen, he would chase him, and at 5 yards he would turn and sit down. Okay, and that's the stick route. He wants to just chase the inside hip of the whole player, get to his depth, and then turn and face the quarterback. All right. There's a different way to do that, in the fact that the play was originally developed for true tight end, and the tight end was taught to go straight up the field 5 yards, and if it was open, if there was nobody there, just sit. If he was going to get banged, if somebody was trying to jump him, then he just breaks it outside and turns it into basically a little whip route. So he'd work up 5 yards. If he's going to get collisioned or get covered, then he would break it outside and turn it into an out route. But his aiming point again is if he were a true tight end, straight up the field and then read it from there. So a lot of people will tighten the Y down to within 2 to 3 yards of the tackle and send him to that same landmark where a tight end would have gone straight up the field, and then read that. If it's open again, if it's vacated, then just turn and sit, which happens a lot. If not, then break it back outside and turn it into an out route. If you've got a big physical player, even if there is a backer in here that wants to bang, he may just post him up like a post player in basketball, and then the quarterback just throws to his outside hip, and you still get a good play out of it. More commonly right now, though, guys are leaving the Y or the stick route runner 7 to 8 to 9 yards wide from the tackle now, and just chasing the inside hip of the whole player and running it that way. The only downside to that, as far as I'm concerned, is that it takes the F out of the play a lot of times, because the wider the Y has to run his route, the F is running his route, and then you've got one defender that can cover both. So that's why I think in high school it's an easier, simpler play with the Y in tight, and then the F runs his arrow route, and now this whole player a lot of times has a big decision to make on who he wants to cover. Does he want to chase and truly go play the flats, or does he want to try to jump the Y on the stick? Okay. The go route by the Z is a mandatory outside release, which means no questions asked, have to get outside, have to go through the outside shoulder pad of the defender, and if I have to collision him, I have to collision him, but I have to turn him away from the stick route or the arrow route that's coming to him so that I don't set them up for a big hit. So again, mandatory outside release, then get back on top of the numbers and work a go route. The arrow route, really the F should cheat up and be out here about on the outside leg of the tackle, and should cheat up a step. If he's even with the quarterback, he should be a full step in front of him. And at this for this route, and this is a free release route. He doesn't check at all on this one, so this is the first time we've done this on a free release route. And the arrow is just like that. It's if you shot an arrow out of bounds 2 to 3 yards across the line of scrimmage, that would be his aiming point. So he would immediately turn and run at that angle. okay, and running a straight line at that angle. And typically I'll set a cone out when I'm teaching this. Set a cone out at 2 or 3 yards on the sideline, and just say, hey, that's your route. And you just sprint to that cone, and then the quarterback would throw the ball to the backfield shoulder. Okay, so the F is actually going to look back over. In this case, he would look over his right shoulder, and the quarterback would throw him the ball over his right shoulder here. Okay, a little bit different. We don't lead him up the field on this. Okay. Now, one thing that you will see on here is, especially if the Y is going to be wider here like this, and he is chasing the inside hip of the whole player to where the stick is a wider route and is not more inside the box, then you'll see what we call a Swede route. The F 5 steps flat and then starts to bend it towards the numbers and start to gain some ground. And a lot of times you can get, at least the quarterback gets a clearer picture because there's more space between the stick and the Swede route. We call this a Swede route. There's more space between that than there is between the stick and the arrow if you're going to play him out wider like that. Okay, this play is a lot more effective the faster the quarterback can make his read, make his decision, and because typically the stick or the arrow are open more times than not. One or the other is going to be open. If the quarterback can find that quickly and just make a catch and throw, then the play becomes a lot more effective. And again, on the backside, again, I prefer a 3-step slant with the inside receiver in high school. And again, as he runs his slant, if he were to get towards the center, he would go ahead and work his check down. If he doesn't get the ball right off the line, he would want to work that into a check down somewhere in the box there. And then on the outside, we've got our three-step slant as well. Okay, so let's look at some of these. Here we've got the pre-snap go. We'll get press coverage here. State championship game here on a 4th down, and got 0 coverage. So obviously the grass is deep. Quarterback sees that. This is a good matchup. This is their best receiver, and he sees that that's the best matchup. So on the snap, takes a 1-step drop, fires the feet, gets the ball high and outside. You would like to see this receiver try to work more into leaning back up into the numbers, because the quarterback really doesn't have much room to mess up right here when he's right there on the sideline like he is. But he does kind of restack the defender and creates a little separation there at the end and is able to haul the play in for a touchdown. Again, here's another go route. I'm going to run stick to the left this time, but so we have the arrow here and the stick here. We get another go outside, and again, he should go through this shoulder pad if he has to physically collision him and turn him away from the arrow and the stick coming to him. But again, should take a 1 or 3-step drop, takes a 1-step drop, gets that ball over the outside shoulder. But one good thing he does is he maintains leverage with the defender, leans on the defender, leans on the defender, leans on the defender, and then at the last second, he comes off and separates. Again, want to be covered early, open late. Now we have a backside slant. So again, quarterback doesn't like any of this on the front side. He forgets that, and this can become the front side. And again, he just wants to read the grass. And what the quarterback sees here right now is he sees all this grass right here, and he knows that slant will occupy that grass. So as long as he stems and gets inside leverage on that whole player, which he does, then he's got all kinds of grass to work in. Again, got another inside slant. Sorry, I think this slant's going to come from over here. And it does. So we've got lots of grass again in here. He sees it's showing blitz here, so he sees the grass. Again, the safeties are down low, so as long as he gets inside leverage on this safety, got plenty of grass. Quarterback 1 step, get the ball out, good play. So again, got the outside slant. It's actually over here. And you can see that he's leaning inside a little bit. He likes this grass, plus this guy's playing soft. So again, the quarterback forgets the front side, and makes this backside the front side, and is going to read this slant to the backside. Again, lots of grass, and if you notice, he gears it down. He gets to the top of the route, and he kind of gears it down and jogs instead of sprints in here for a big hit. So watch how he gears it down. 1, 2, 3 stick, and then he gears it down, catches the ball, and then gets straight up the field. Now we go to the stick. As you can see, the F here, he is cheated up and cheated out. He's on this outside leg of the tackle. He's cheated up a step in front of the quarterback now, you can see, and his release would take him here just like this. Okay, but first the F's going to chase this outside, or chase this inside leg or hip of this whole player. So even if he expands, he would expand with him and work off his inside hip. If he does expand a little bit, so he comes outside with him a little bit, then he works back to his inside hip, and we've got a good play. One thing you'd want to see him do right here is just take that right foot, drop step, and get straight up the field instead of working back into the middle of the field. Again, another stick here. As you can see, the whole player showing blitz right now, but then he bails out, so he still chases his inside hip and works his stick off that inside hip. And still got a lot of room there. You can see what the quarterback sees. He sees all this grass, which is what we always want. And there's the stick that occupies that grass. Okay, now we got the arrow. And again, the arrow is a free release, and you can see how much the back is cheated up in front of the quarterback, and he's wider. He should be on the outside leg of the tackle. The Y should be working inside hip here. Should go through the outside shoulder pad here, and then we get the arrow route coming right through here. And again, you can see how that works. Lots of grass here for the arrow route. And the quicker the quarterback can read that and get the ball out, the better off the play is. Now here's a Swede route. Again, we want to go flat for 5 and then start to gain ground towards the numbers. Okay. Then if you were to get upfield at 5 yards before you get the ball, just turn and sit. Okay. So again, we're going to read the stick. Going to read the stick to the Swede, which you can see. You can see all the grass here right now, so throwing the Swede is an easy read. And then out of a 3x1, there's a couple different ways you can do this. This is the most common. Still run the stick with the Y, still at 5 yards doing the same thing. Then we would just run a speed out, a 3 to 5 yard speed out with quick out with the number 2 receiver. Outside receiver still has his same mandatory outside release go rules, and then the backside slant stays the same. And now the F, now he would move opposite of the trips, and he has a check down that he would run now too. So basically the reads don't change for the quarterback. He's still reading stick, and if you think about it, if the F had been in the backfield and was running the arrow, he would still be in the same general vicinity. So really the reads are about the same for the quarterback. The eyes still work the same way, so he's still reading stick to the out here, okay, then to his check down, okay. So same thing as if he was reading stick, arrow, check down, okay. He's just reading stick, out, check down now. And here we have the backside slant. As you can see, he's buying a little bit of time. He knows he's got grass. He gears it down and gets a nice throw from the quarterback. Again, you'll see the quarterback take a one-step drop, fire his feet, and get the ball out quickly. Now we got the stick route. You can see that the whole player disappeared. He got blitz off the edge. He gets his 5 yards and just turns and sits. He should stem the outside pad and then work to the outside. One thing, just another little coaching point here. This receiver here, remember, he wants to go outside, and if he needs to, he needs to collision this corner and turn him away from the out route coming underneath. And as you watch, he doesn't necessarily get the collision that he should, and doesn't get the turn that he should get. Here he should dip his shoulder. He should dip his shoulder right now, collision this outside pad, and force force this corner to open up to the sideline, and he doesn't do that here. He just runs by him. So now you can see that if the quarterback were to throw the out, if he were to throw the out right here, he would take a big hit. Again, another stick. And one thing out of trips that is a good idea is to just play action the trips. And really, it's not much of a play action. The quarterback doesn't have time to show the ball or ride the fake or anything, but just like with the fast screen, just have the F line up to the trip side, make a huge pocket, and just fake the zone or stretch away, and then he can still run his check down to the opposite side. Because what that will do a lot of times, we'll get flow with these middle backers, or we'll bring them up, and that way you get a lot of room in here for your stick route. It opens the stick route up really well. And that's kind of what you get right here. You'll see the F come across and make the play fake, and the quarterback's able to get the stick off pretty quick. He does show it. I don't recommend showing it like they do here. This quarterback does show the ball, especially in high school. I would just have the back make the play fake himself and sell it himself. And as you can see, had he just taken the ball and thrown it and not made the play fake, not shown the ball to the F here, he would have had more grass to throw the stick in. Still worked out well. Still a good play. And now to the out. So it'll be stick out, check down. So now we go to the out route. So stick, out, and then we'll come back down to the check down. And now here, out of trips, here's a nice little wrinkle. Works really well a lot of times. Now we've taken the H, instead of the H being here and running the out route, we've taken the H and put him inside the Y, and we're just going to run him either on the out route. You can still run him on the out route, or we're going to run him on the arrow route from here. Okay, just helps to cross up the defense a little bit. Okay, just give them a different look. Now we've got the arrow from the number 3 receiver, and then the stick with number 2 receiver. Okay, just another little change up here. And again, you could play action this if you wanted to. But you'll see the stick here with number 2, and then just got the out route. They did run the out route with number 3 instead of the arrow. And again, nice little change up. And then here's the arrow out of it. So you'll see the stick route, chase the inside hip here. See him chase the inside hip here and create space. Real easy read for the arrow right here. Be lots of grass. Again, you'll see the arrow right there. Good, stick, arrow. Okay, now really only have a couple of tags. Really only one tag that we kind of work with off of the stick route, and that is with the dig tag here. And what we do is really just trying to high-low this whole defender. So I'm going to read the stick to the dig. Okay, so if the whole defender wants to jump the stick, then we're going to throw the dig in behind it. If he wants to run with the dig, then we'll throw the stick underneath it. So really, to run this, we're going to have the stick route runner chase the inside hip of the whole defender, and the dig route runner is going to run to the outside hip or the outside pad of the whole defender. So we're really going to put him in a bind. So he just has to decide whether he wants to jump the stick or run with the dig. Okay, and that's all we're trying to do is high-low him. Now, the other thing that we've done a lot of times is we put the F to the same side as the trips and still run the arrow or run the sweep over here, and we would read stick, dig, and then sweep or arrow route. And then you still have your pre-snap slant to the back side, and now you've got a pre-snap go or post to the front side. And it's a nice play that's resulted in some really big plays for Tony, especially at middle, and then at La Tech some too. But I like putting the F to the trip side, and again running him on a sweep route or on an arrow route. Okay. So here we get the post to the play side as a pre-snap read, and you can see all the grass back here. Safeties are down low, got zero coverage. and so the quarterback sees 0. He likes the matchup, so he's able to go deep on the pre-snap read, keeps him skinny with the throw, keeps him on the hash. Works out well. Now we come to the dig. So we're going to read the stick, and as you'll see, both of these routes are going to attack this defender right here. So you'll read the stick to the dig, and you'll see that he hangs with the stick and opens up the dig. And you can see that this linebacker jumps the stick as well. This linebacker jumps the stick, and that opens up all this grass in here for the dig. And again here, as you can see now, working inside hip, working outside hip. And you can see this linebacker coming to jump the stick as well. And again, you can see how all this is going to open up in the middle. One more time. Same thing. Both attacking the same defender, working inside hip, working outside hip. And again, you can see the linebacker coming to help out on the stick route. And again, look at all the grass in the middle of the field. Same thing from the right side. Again, got 0 coverage. He is starting to rotate, but again, if we throw it skinny and keep him on the hash, we should be okay. We do. And then to the stick. Again, going to chase the inside hip. And real easy read here now for the first time since we've been showing this. You'll see that everybody drops. Everybody's dropping. So there's all kinds of grass underneath, so still a real easy read here. Again, we're just going to high-low this guy right here. He bails, so now we know we're going low. We got the underneath route. Now we got the dig here on the goal line, inside the red zone. One thing he did different here is just because the safety jumped him at the last second, he did wind up having to work to the outside pad on the dig route, which is fine. Was the way we teach a dig a lot of times, especially off of the shallows that we went over earlier, and then cuts his dig across into the end zone. But one great thing that he did is if you watch, he runs through contact. Watch him dip the shoulder right here. Dips the shoulder, gets great pad level, shows his back to the defender, rips through, and then is able to run his dig route and find grass. Same thing here. Only this time we're running the dig now with the outside receiver instead of the inside receiver. So we're still going to read stick to dig, but now we got the out that we could come down to instead of the other way around that we had it a few seconds ago. So here we're going to read the stick first. Again, the dig's coming from the outside now instead of the number 2 receiver. It's coming from the number 1 receiver. So we read the stick. Stick's open. Go ahead and throw the stick. Don't bypass an open receiver. And now we got the dig. So read the stick to the dig. Still we're high-low. So we're going to high-low this guy. And as you can see, he jumps the stick and comes down. Got all this grass here now for the dig to come across and able to get the dig in there. And